This time I had a chance to step back. And everybody keeps saying, oh, they changing up stuff. No, we ain't changed up anything. It's the same thing we always do. You know? And when I lost him, I was hurt. That was my first time losing a fighter that you put so much into.
Calvin Ford, what does he mean to you when you hear that name? What does he mean when you first hear that?
A father.
In a recent interview, Calvin Ford discussed his departure from Gervonta Tank Davis's training team following his firing by Tank. Ford expressed his hope for Davis's continued growth, stressing the importance of having someone who could challenge and push him to reach new levels. However, Ford also revealed his frustration with Tank's harsh behavior toward him after the controversial fight with Lamont Roach.
The best for him. I'm hoping that he do what I needed to do. You get what I'm saying? You see how I asked him, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Because I need somebody that's going to really push things so I can see different levels of it. This time I had a chance to step back. And everybody keeps saying, oh, they changing up stuff. No, we ain't changed up anything. It's the same thing we always do. You know?
Going into the training camp, how was it? Or you said you stepped back a little bit. Well, how was it? Splitting the time. How's it going to be splitting the time to
no, this
Saturday
something
night?
That we do all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Right now, y'all know all I gotta do is speak. Then take out history since he was a kid. When I stepped in the gym, B said, yo, I'm glad you here now. He watched it. He said, boom. And I see the light we take. I just can't wait to see all of that come together. Fight night.
How's going back to being in the corner? How do you see Gervonta right now? Just being in camp, because at first when we talked to him in the press conference, he was very open about retiring and he was done. And now he said that
y'all have to understand. He's a young man. He have a family. He want to do something. Enjoy something. Don't take some time. I took a little bit of time out. You know what I'm saying? It refreshes. Get you back on that.
During a pivotal moment in Tank Davis's fight, an unexpected exchange between him and his longtime trainer Calvin Ford took center stage. As Ford tried to wipe the sweat from Davis's face and offer instructions between rounds, Davis suddenly interrupted, saying, "You gotta stop and listen to me." This rare display of visible frustration from Davis toward Ford hinted at a deeper issue, possibly a breakdown in communication between the fighter and his trainer.
Let's take a look at what we thought was taking a knee. I thought it was sliding jab. Yeah, what's wrong?
Something strong. He took a knee.
That's a knockdown.
You cannot take. Yeah.
What?
The bond between Davis and Ford went beyond a professional relationship. It was deeply personal. Davis had previously stated that Ford could always tell when he was about to stop an opponent. Their connection was built on mutual trust, shared experience, and an unspoken understanding. For years, this partnership played a crucial role in Davis's rise to prominence, with Ford shaping him into one of boxing's most dangerous fighters. However, as recent tensions revealed, something had shifted.
Man, before they stopped it, I said every time I stop somebody, I call it out.
Every time he come in the corner and talk to him, I said, yo, what you doing? He'll look this way, he'll look this way. He's not about to stop.
And I start touching him more and more. When they gonna give him the credit for one of the smartest boxers.
That was a beautiful boxing display.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Smart.
That's what I call. You wasn't looking for the knockout, but you was placing this shit. Yeah, he already seen it.
He said, I can't
That's
get
the
hit.
difference. And Tank was holding the conversation. Tank said, yo, come on. Tank can't. Every fight, Tank come tell me, I'm going to knock him out. He'll tell me, I'm going to knock him out.
Because we
What's up? It's your boy Gervonta Davis. Make sure y'all like and subscribe on the Garage Podcast.
Months ago, reports emerged suggesting that Davis and Ford had parted ways professionally. Ford acknowledged the emotional toll this had taken on him, stating that people often fail to understand his struggles, convictions, and feelings on various matters, though he himself had a clear understanding. Davis, on the other hand, seemed to take a different approach. He hinted at wanting to move in a new direction, saying, "The less people you chill with, the less problems you deal with." While he didn't explicitly confirm a split, his words implied that he might be seeking a fresh start, potentially without Ford by his side.
Tank don't fuck with Coach Cal. When Tank was walking up, it looked like Coach Cal was about to give him that hug like you always do, and Tank just brushed him off like, fuck out of here, nigga. Whoop, excuse me. Fuck out of here, nigga. Now it seems like Coach Cal on point, so you're not paying Tank no mind. And Tank go over here, he go to this nigga, and watch this shit that he do. He gonna lift his jacket up, and like, our conversation is a secret, I don't want him to hear it. Type shit. Like, yo, what's up with Coach Cal and Tank? They really don't fuck with each other? Like, what? And he brush him off again, like, don't touch me type shit. Like, you see?
Calvin Ford had been training Davis since he was just 7 years old. Their bond went beyond boxing. It was rooted in mentorship, family, and life. When Davis began to distance himself, Ford admitted that it hurt him deeply. Losing Davis as a fighter felt like losing family. For someone who had invested so much time and energy into Davis's growth, watching him move on was undeniably painful.
Tank was the first one in the gym, the last one out the gym. Tank used to sit on the ring like this and watch me train him.
How old is he at this point?
He was like 7, 8.
Okay.
A lot of stuff that I was giving my son was giving it to Tank. So it was a perfect fit. Tank was like the family, you know what I'm saying? And he used to sit at the table because I had another kid named Ramon Manning. He liked to play with them guns, you know what I'm saying? And when I lost him, I was hurt because that was my first time losing a fighter that you put so much into. Remember, I said, Tank, my money running out. And he just looked at me and said, believe in me, coach. Believe. That's what did it.
When he said that, that's...
It's still...
Damn.
I don't hear Tank as the day. I hear Tank as that little boy. Believe in me, coach. And he came in the gym one day and he said, Coach, I seen it. I said, what you seen? I had all the belts on me. He said, I'm gonna be that dude. The rest is history.
Damn, I got goosebumps low-key. That's gotta...
Ford was not involved in Davis's preparation for his fight against Lamont Roach Jr., which quickly sparked rumors of a rift between them. Ford later explained that he had been concentrating on training amateur boxers, a passion of his.
It's definitely going on between Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis. Now, we all seen that knockdown in the 9th round, but what you probably didn't see is what happened after that in between rounds. Check this out. Coach Barry Hunter trained Tank for this fight with Lamont Roach, not Calvin Ford. A lot of people were saying that this performance has something to do with that. So, is something really going on between Calvin Ford and Tank Davis? Check out what Tank had to say.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd. You know what I mean? I was more so... It's something we gotta work on in the corner, for sure.
However, that explanation didn't stop fans from wondering if this marked the beginning of the end for their partnership.
No, he came to see me. Dad, slow down, I'm worrying about you because, boom, he knows that I spend time with my amateurs. You know me. Both of y'all know me very well. Don't I spend time with my amateurs? All the time. That's my peace. And he know when I go spend time with my peace, I'm going through things. You know what I'm saying? When he was there, at least I know where he was at. Because it was something that we didn't want to do. It was something that we normally do. Y'all with me? And it was good for us to tell you the truth, because when I stepped back in the head Vegas game and I haven't been there, it brought back so much memories. When we first started off, and him seeing all us working together, he was happy. And at the end of the day, it's what it's about.
During that brief period of separation, there was still a sense of family between us. He came to check on me, slow me down, and make sure I was okay. He knows that I spend a lot of time with my family. It's my peace. And when I do, it's because I'm going through something. When he was there, at least I knew where he was, and it was something we usually did together. Honestly, it was good for us. When I stepped back into the gym, it brought back so many memories of when we first started. I remember him saying how we were working together and how happy he was. At the end of the day, it's all about the fight.
He just did. We got off the canvas once. It ain't about the dub with me. It's about that you got that will against will. I don't know. I know I can. I ain't pushed no buttons with Tank yet. I came from a different beast. I understand what we got to go against every time we get in there. That square box of lunch is serious. So when I talk to him, he know what I'm talking about. But let's see. April the 22nd, Ron.
One of Ford's greatest strengths as a trainer was his profound understanding of Davis's mindset. He knew exactly how to push the right buttons, get Davis into the right frame of mind, and motivate him when things got tough. Ford's ability to connect with Davis on a psychological level played a key role in their many successes. Without Ford's guidance, some wondered if Davis might lose the mental edge that had made him so dominant in the ring.
Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody know him. Everybody know him at work.
Remember Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You gotta be, like, all the way in it, like, focus on the goal, you know, and them guys, they went left, and unfortunately, they got killed.
You weigh the odds out like that. Do you want him to go to jail or you want him to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing gym.
If I ain't had the people I had around me, like the people that started with me and things like that, I probably would have been off the scene for a long time.
Davis has frequently talked about Ford's importance in his life, describing him as more than just a trainer. As a young fighter growing up in Baltimore, Davis found stability through Ford's mentorship. At one point, he even lived at Ford's house.
Yeah, that name. What does it mean when you first hear that?
A father. Father. And then he's one of the guys that held a lot of this, like, this whole family together. Him with Kenny, but for sure, like, them two, they held the whole camp together, for sure.
Wouldn't be here without him? Would you say that? Without Calvin?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be here without him. Just off of the fact of when I was coming to the gym, I was getting that love that I ain't have at home, type stuff. So it was always like, Calvin, saying I walked through the gym, Calvin, like, looking for him, type stuff.
He told me he used to come to the gym and you'd be outside, sleep in front of the gym, in front of the door.
Yeah, I used to run from I go to school, and then from school, I go straight to the gym, don't tell my grandma or nothing. Let's go straight to the gym. And the gym was closed. The gym didn't even, I used to get out of school probably 3 o'clock, and the gym didn't open till like 4:30. I'd just be outside just sleeping on the front of the gym, just waiting. Police grabbed me before, like, get up. I think I'm just out here just grab me, like, what you doing out here? I'm waiting on the gym.
All for a reason.
Yeah.
The gym became a second home for Davis, a place where he experienced the love and guidance he hadn't always found elsewhere. For Davis, Ford wasn't just a coach, he was a father figure.
At DC, they call me Mo. Calvin is Calvin, you know what I mean? I got Calvin tatted on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean? I don't know. Calvin is pops. He ain't going nowhere. I got that nigga tatted on me. This shit life. Loyalty over everything. So just, you know?
As rumors spread, Davis confronted them directly. He reassured fans that Ford wasn't going anywhere, saying Calvin ain't going anywhere and I ain't going anywhere either. Davis was firm in insisting that their relationship remained intact.
It's crazy. That's why I said that. I said, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, that Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
Despite his reassurances, the tension remained visible, particularly when Davis was seen shouting at Ford during the Roach fight. Eventually, Ford acknowledged that his role in Davis's career might have come to its natural conclusion. He admitted that he had taught Davis everything he could, and if Davis was ready to move on, Ford was willing to accept it. He emphasized that his priority was Davis's success, whether or not he was part of the journey.
Let me explain something to you. Tank don't look at me as coach, he look at me as dad. Do it look like his son supposed to be taking your dad? I don't even feel right. Y'all hear this time? Oh, Tank don't pay his coach. Tank gives me anything I want.
Right.
But I'm a man at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And I'm a hustler.
Right.
Second and foremost, I came from that cloth. You understand? He watched me lose my house, my wife, my family. He watched me do it. It's bigger than boxing.
Right.
Boxing is just a web.
Ford helped Davis navigate the challenges of Baltimore's streets, keeping him focused on boxing instead of the dangers that surrounded him. Their journey was marked by resilience, determination, and an unshakable belief in one another.
We looked at 3 rounds. Brian was calling over. I need 3. We got 1. I need 2. We got 2. But he forgot where he was at. He thought he was still in the 8th round. He thought he was still had rounds to go.
Well, he still had rounds to go. He was in the 8th round.
He was good. We just couldn't figure out why he couldn't pick it up.
Right. And so I think it was maybe a lack of focus just for a little bit, and we'll fix that. But nevertheless, I think that made that fight a draw.
This question is for Coach Calvin Ford. This is Matt from Bunch Boxing. Now, we know that Tank has talked in the past about retiring, leaving the game of boxing. As someone that's had Tank since basically he was a puppet, you praised him as a boxer and a man, what would you like to see Tank do after tonight?
I'd like to see Tank do what he wants. Said with the last press conference. I gotta understand, them guys are doing this just like anytime.
Oh yeah. In fact, he backstage right now talking about he want a rematch.
Backstage, you want to go to the gym right now.
Yes, that's what he said. So I think that the time is coming.
Yeah.
Chris Murray, Philadelphia. I gotta ask you a question in the sense that you said California very well. You said before the fight that you wanted to see him take his game to another level. What didn't he do in this fight that you felt he could have done and whatnot, and pretty much hoping to fight up to being a draw?
Well, like I said again, they've been knowing each other since they were in coach. He stepped up to the card. He stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Again, Tank history. I always sit there and tell you, I don't like knockouts. I like punishment. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things gotta happen to make you get back to where you belong. You know what I'm saying? And that was a good skill class fight. Skillful. Both of them will take certain chances. Some will take chances. You know what I'm saying? You see, like this, you know. Like, we thought he could have did more.
Thought he could have did more, and hack on through the month. You know, he was prepared. There were shots that he took that the average person would have went out on. And he took pretty much Tank was second on the uppercut, and he threw it, and he was able to catch some of the uppercut. So, yeah, he got to give him credit.
During the Roach fight, Ford noticed that Davis didn't elevate his performance as he usually did. He didn't dominate in the way fans had come to expect. Ford pointed out that Davis had opportunities to finish the fight but didn't capitalize on them. This led to questions. Was Davis missing Ford's guidance?
In my mind, this is why Gervonta Davis struggled that fight, so just roll with me for a second, you'll see where I'm going. I don't know if y'all noticed it right away, but I noticed it. Calvin Ford was not the head man in the corner, which I didn't really understand. And before the video continues, go ahead to the follow button because we're about to deep dive into this and we post every day. Calvin Ford was not the lead man who's been with Gervonta since he was a damn near child. Honestly, since he was a child. Why would you do that? I don't know if they were underestimating the fight. I don't know if they were just trying to change it up and try something new because this wasn't a huge opponent. I don't know if there's something wrong with Calvin or Calvin's not going to be there. I don't know. but that was damn stupid. Because you notice when shit started hitting the fan, guess what voice popped up on that screen? Put his head through ropes and Calvin started coaching. When Tank's eye messed up, guess where he looked? He didn't look at that other corner man. He looked for Calvin Ford. Also, Tank talked a lot during this fight. It was a little bit of a different Tank than we've seen. He was chirping with the fire, which isn't new. He was arguing with the ref. He seemed not composed. I feel like that would have been different with a Calvin Ford in his corner. Because I'm gonna be real, the advice that his corner was giving him was dog shit. Like, yeah, he won the fight, but let's be real, he shouldn't have won that fight. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I think that definitely played a role, and I feel like if Calvin was there, it would have been a little different. But yeah, not a good boxing night from Tank, and this is from a Tank fan. So.
We reviewed the fight and noticed a few things. Bree was calling out for specific rounds, like, I need 3, we got 1, I need 2, you got 2, but Davis lost track of where he was. He thought he was still in the 8th round and that there were more rounds to go. He just didn't pick it up when he had the chance, and we couldn't figure out why. It might have been a momentary lack of focus, but we'll address that. Despite that, I still think it was a solid fight overall. This question is for Coach K. This is Matt from Bunch Boxing. We know Tank has mentioned retirement in the past as someone who's been with him since he was young, raising him both as a boxer and a man. What would you like to see Tank do after tonight? I want Tank to do what he wants to do. I said at the last press conference, these guys have been at it for years and they're energized. In fact, Tank's backstage right now talking about wanting a rematch. He even wants to go to the gym right now. So I think retirement talk is done. This question's for both you and Coach Barry. Chris Murray here from Philadelphia Sunday Sun. You both mentioned before the fight that you wanted to see Tank take his game to the next level. What do you think he didn't do in this fight that could have prevented it from being a draw? As I said, they've known each other for years, and Lamont stepped up. Tank always says he doesn't like knockouts because it's about punishment, not just finishing someone. Sometimes things need to happen for a fighter to refocus and get back on track. This was a skillful fight from both sides. Tank did take some chances and some of them paid off, but we thought he could have done more. Credit to Lamont though, he came prepared. There were shots he took that would have knocked the average person out, but Tank stayed in it, especially with the uppercuts he was setting up. You got to give Lamont credit for that.
Touch on is the Floyd situation, you know. Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing greatness. And you should be supporting that. I always tell you that. You should be supporting that, you know. It's a rocky road that we said what's going on. Just pay attention, man. The story is going to rebuild itself, you know. But again, that's how you burn bridges. Somebody said this is the true colors of a person that's coming out, man. They can't stand it, you know. Calm is the. I don't like using that word calm, you know, but our Lord knows. He knows. He knows. He knows.
Ford had always been the voice that kept Davis focused during past fights. He pushed Davis to finish strong, and his instructions went beyond strategy. They were about instilling belief. When Davis was in the ring, Ford's confidence in him made all the difference.
How important was it for Tank to learn?
That was the blessing. That wasn't my work. That wasn't Tank work. That wasn't Floyd work. It was the stars, the moons, or whatever, bringing them together to create greatness. So we can have this greatness carry us to the next generation.
You showed humbleness on stage at the press conference today, giving it immense props to the guys at the other side of the table, to Tank, to Goose, and to...
I grew up off the legends of what they did when we was watching boxing, when they said boxing was great. Boxing still is great. You just got to get the guys to do what they do. Thanks, Steve. To do what they do.
Davis had flourished under Ford's guidance for years, but in his fight against Roach, something seemed off. Fans quickly noticed that Davis wasn't as sharp as usual, and without Ford's usual involvement, he struggled to find his rhythm. Some even called it the worst performance of his career. Ford understands that every great fighter eventually has to forge their own path. Just as Floyd Mayweather once mentored Davis, Tank had to step out of Floyd's shadow. Now Ford believes Davis is at a similar crossroads. He must decide his own destiny.
You want to see you as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him. You're training him all the time. You know him. Both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
While Floyd gave Davis a platform and Ford provided mentorship, Davis's success ultimately came down to his own talent, timing, and destiny. Ford recognizes that no single person can take full credit for Davis's rise. His success was destined long before anyone else could claim responsibility for it. When asked about who he wants Davis to fight next, Ford laid out a detailed list of potential opponents, demonstrating that despite the circumstances, he still wants what's best for Davis. Davis and Ford have been through too much together for this to be the end, but with the tensions, rumors, and changing dynamics, one question lingers. Can they repair their relationship, or has their time together truly come to a close? That's all for today's video. Stay tuned, and see you next time.